Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, our Week 10 prediction show. Paul joined by Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game.
He looks bigger than ever.
He is looking pretty big. Right?
Zach, you want a Coke and a smile?
I worked out before this.
You worked out? Yeah. I didn't fit it in today for myself. And then Jack's just naturally jacked, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just...
Ziggy, we know, is in the gym at, 5, 6 a.m. over there at UVA?
Pretty much, though. I just fell down some stairs a couple days ago and hurt my shoulder, so I haven't lifted.
How many stairs?
I didn't fall down. I fell up.
Did you go up and then start going down?
No, so there were some stairs at UVA. They're like where I need to walk through, and the last 3 stairs are twice as steep as all the other 20 stairs leading up to it. And I just realized this, but. Yeah, so it's the top 3rd stair, and you just trip on it, and then shoulder right into the corner of the top stair.
Oh God!
Ow!
Were you hammered on the way home from the bar?
Yeah.
It was
2 a.m. home from the bar.
It was 1:50 on a Monday, so I will let you guys decide what was
on
going
Monday morning.
Ziggy was hammered.
Jeez,
Ziggy was hammered.
But yeah, is that 1:50 a.m. on Monday morning?
What do you guys think?
Did any students see?
That's Friday, Junior.
I don't know.
Junior.
Oh,
they could have, though. It was right in front of the classroom.
Oh boy. Well, we're glad that your shoulder is recovering. Actually, check out some Netflix stuff right now. This isn't a promo for Netflix or anything, but they just added Godzilla, Drake and Josh, Spider-Verse 2. It is a perfect addition.
But how did we get from falling down the stairs to Netflix?
I've just been so happy with the Netflix editions recently. You said you'd never seen Drake and Josh. Go watch all Drake and Josh.
I'm not watching Drake and Josh.
Is it possible to be so jacked that when you work out, you get smaller?
What? Okay, shut up.
Let's talk about football. This is out of control.
So today we'll have our game. We'll have our game picks as we always do. The Jack Cap of the week, guys. 6 in a row right now. I mean, this is free money.
And this is the lock of the year coming up.
If you've ever seen free money, which, I've been privileged to see it for 6 weeks now, this is it coming up at the end of our show. And we're going to start off with the Monday morning headlines today. We're each going to pick a game that we're excited to see, and we'll tell you what we're expecting the newspaper to say when you open it up. Jack, why don't you lead us off? What game do you have your eyes on?
So I'm taking my talents down to Saxonville. A game I am super, super, super intrigued by this week. You got the Niners going on the road to take on Jacksonville. Can the San Francisco 49ers off a bye, both teams off a bye, can San Francisco break out of this little skid? And Jacksonville, can they win now, 6 in a row?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this would be an awesome win for both sides. And where I look at this game is kind of like a get-right game for can Brock Purdy kind of look where we're used to seeing him look like. Jacksonville ranks towards the bottom of the league in pass defense. I think if he can get back on track and do his thing, the Niners can walk into Jacksonville and beat Jackson and end their streak.
Okay.
I think it'll be an awesome game. Big win for either side. Looking forward to it.
I have to say, I think when you call it a get-right game, I don't think these are the same Jaguars that we're used to seeing, though. Since they got embarrassed by the Texans.
I don't mean get right. I just mean.
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just mean win.
But the Jaguars, though, their fans, I've seen a lot of them are not ready to buy in fully to the team yet. They're waiting to be hurt. Just like, the Browns, Vikings fans. We all kind of unite around this misery and false hope. It's cautious optimism. That's basically what it is. But since getting embarrassed against the Texans, they've beaten the Bills, who I don't care. They have Josh Allen, still a great win. They went into New Orleans, really tough place to play. Got a win there. They went into Pittsburgh, and you've beaten the Ravens and the Browns there, and they beat you guys fairly easily. You have to be confident, and now you get a reeling San Francisco team who really are on the ropes. If you push them to a 4th straight loss, there's going to be a lot of questions in San Francisco. I think when we look at the AFC, we've talked a lot about Baltimore, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, even though they're losing. We've talked about all these teams. Jacksonville's next 6 games, let me just read them to you guys. The 49ers, the Titans, then at the Texans, a huge game because whoever wins that will have, the Texans, if they win that, will have the tiebreaker on the season. And then following up with the Bengals, Browns, Ravens, a little AFC North parlay right there for the Jaguars. We're going to find out what this team is made of over the next 6 weeks. And they got, they're huge games because the Texans have a light schedule, and we could be looking at a race for the AFC South by the end of December here. I agree with you, though. Really good game. San Francisco pulls it out at the end. Ziggy, what do you think? Because I know you've been high on the Jaguars.
The interesting question is going to be how the Jaguars match up against the 49ers defense, right? Steve Wilkes is coming down to coach on the sidelines. Chase Young should have had a little bit of time to get integrated at this point. We'll get to see him. But the 49ers defense has started slipping, right? Through the first 5 games, they were only giving up an average of 13.6 points per game, least in the NFL. Now they gave up 19 to the Browns, 22 to the Vikings, and 31 to the Bengals, all in losses. So it's going to be critical that the defense is able to step up, because even though he's not getting a lot of attention, he's not in any MVP conversations, Trevor Lawrence has consistently played well for the Jaguars. He's put them in positions to win in all but, as you said, one of their games against the Texans. So seeing how the 49ers defense brings forth a plan to handle him, handle Calvin Ridley, handle Christian Kirk, handle Travis Etienne, that's really going to be the matchup to watch. And I'll say this, I think the Jaguars offense is going to be able to get it done. I think the 49ers defense is not as good as things looked early on, and you're going to see a Jaguars victory.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, this would be a landmark win for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It would have to be maybe their biggest regular season win. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting a game, but I can't think of a bigger win for them.
But if they win this game, they're like, we're talking about Baltimore and the Bengals coming on and the Dolphins. If Jacksonville wins this game, they're sitting there at 7-2 with the win over San Francisco.
Yeah, and over Buffalo, all those teams I mentioned.
We're the conversation here for the number 1 seed in Jacksonville.
I also can't wait to see, Ziggy. I know you mentioned the Jaguars offense versus the 49ers defense. Yeah, this is the other side of the game, but I want to see how Brock Purdy looks too.
Against the lower-ranked pass defense.
Yep, we talked about his turnovers, how 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions the first 5 games, 5-0, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions the last 3. They're 0-3. Jaguars tied for the lead in takeaways this year. If Brock Purdy looks poor, San Francisco fans are going to start to seriously ask questions about him. And I'm expecting a bounce back. Deebo Samuel should return. Trent Williams is iffy at the moment. But this game is going to tell us a lot about both these teams and should be super fun.
Who do you think, before we move on here, either one of you guys, who do you think in terms of a mental standpoint, coming off a bye week, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are super hot, all the momentum in the world, and you have San Francisco, who's lost a few games in a row. Are they coming out determined, angry, a desperate feeling, or does Jacksonville continue?
I have to imagine you're seeing a San Francisco team coming out almost backs to the wall sort of a thing. Because
I would agree.
They're all being questioned right now, and they're way too talented to not underperform the way they have.
And a major team leader for them, Deebo Samuel, has been out until now.
Yeah.
You know, he got the nickname Deebo because he's a big bully. Expect to see that on the field this weekend.
But you are right. If Jacksonville wins this, it's time to start talking about them as the number 1 seed potentially.
Can't not.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to our second game. Ziggy, where are you taking us on this tour around Week 10?
This is not a game at the beginning of the season I would have thought anything of, but it might be the most impactful and most exciting game of the week. The Houston Texans are packing their bags and heading to Cincinnati. And you might think, okay, the Cincinnati Bengals, they've got the better offense, they've got the better defense, this is going to be easy. Jamar Chase didn't practice. T. Higgins hurt his hamstring. Sam Hubbard didn't practice. So the Bengals are getting injuries at the absolute worst time. Meanwhile, the Texans are hot. CJ Stroud put forth far and away the best game of his career last weekend. The offense looks close to unstoppable. The defense looks good enough against the Bengals offense that even though it started looking better, may not be able to handle 2 of their 3 best offensive players getting injured. So there's a lot to look forward to in this game. I'll say this, the Texans have really impressed me. I've been surprised of what they've been able to do. I think the headline of this week is going to be a Texans triumph.
Wow. In Cincinnati?
In Cincinnati. Because look, it's tough to go to Cincinnati and play. I get that. But if these injuries stay, I am not confident that the Bengals offense is going to be able to keep up with the Texans offense. That would have sounded crazy to say at the start of the season, right?
A week ago. It would have sounded crazy to say.
But after what we saw from CJ Stroud, I get that maybe he's in line for a letdown game, but the kid looks like Superman. How can I not back him going into this game?
1 week ago, I I was swearing that this was my survivor pick for this week. But I switched to the Cowboys at home against the Giants.
That's a much better pick.
Yeah.
That is so much better.
Because I got a little nervous. I will say that we are praising Stroud and for good reason. He's looked fantastic, and I think he's got it. But it's been a little bit since the Texans all around have looked like a complete team on both sides of the ball. This is a team who just lost to Carolina with 15-13. And then Stroud was the best I've ever seen a rookie quarterback ever play. But you allowed 30-something points to Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. If Cincinnati is healthy, which I'm expecting them to be, they're probably the hottest team in football right now. They're playing this game at home. For me, it's going to take another fantastic game from Stroud and a good game on the defensive side of the ball to beat Cincinnati. They got to play an unbelievable game all around for 4 quarters to win this game. And I have Cincinnati edging it at home.
It's funny because at 5-3, the Bengals are actually in last place in the AFC North still. But, you hear all about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, 4 in a row. We know how hot they are right now. All of us expect them to be competing for the division title, more so than the Browns or Steelers at the end of the year. And while the media has all their attention on the offense, I think this team is most dangerous, and part of the reason that they come on so much at the end of the season is because Lou Anarumo, their great defensive coordinator who will be a head coach soon, he always gets that defense right by the end of the year. Right now, they are playing fantastic in Cincinnati. When that defense is matching the offense in terms of who's the most valuable unit for the Bengals, they're probably the best team in football. I mean, they're right there. And look at what they've done the past 4 weeks during this winning streak. The Cardinals had the most points at 20. But then you had the Seahawks, 49ers, and Bills. Those are the 49ers and Bills are both top 5 offenses in the league, held to under 20 points. I feel like Cincinnati right now is rolling. Baltimore is rolling. Maybe you have a look-ahead spot with Baltimore on Thursday Night Football. That's more of a college thing to me than pro. But I like Cincinnati, and actually, as much as I have been on board with the CJ Stroud hype and the Texans hype, I think they win this one pretty big. And the Texans are still going to compete for the AFC South. They're definitely in the running, but right now it's a buzzsaw in Cincinnati. So I'm with the Bengals.
It seems like it could be a bit of a tough spot in terms of a very emotional win at home, and now you're on the road against probably
a great team
at this moment, the best team in football.
Okay, Zach, how about you as we continue going around the NFL Week 10?
Well, I'm going to take us to good old Baltimore, Maryland, where Jack's 2 favorite teams will be playing the Ravens and the Browns.
It's a lose-lose.
It will be a good weekend for him because one of them's losing.
True. Are those your 2 least favorite teams?
No, it's the Ravens and the Bengals.
Bengals more?
The Browns are irrelevant.
So Ravens, Bengals, that's next Thursday.
That's
just like, that's
hell.
That's hell. Because one wins, unfortunately.
That'll be a great Thursday.
But one does
game.
lose, so...
All right, Zach, and we're going to get to in a second here what our records are on the season, and let me just say Zach is not in first place right now. So with that being said, who are you predicting to win this game?
After watching Deshaun Watson last week, and he kind of looked like good old Deshaun Watson again.
Good old Deshaun Watson.
I'll be taking the Browns this week.
In Baltimore.
I think Lamar has a little shock value added to him.
The Ravens fans are gonna be really pissed to hear that.
Watson probably went to a little parlor before the game last week.
My God. But you have to remember just a couple weeks ago, Deshaun Watson was out. DTR played in that game. The Ravens went into Cleveland, a place where the Browns really pushed around multiple teams this season. Even with their backup, they beat San Francisco. And they won 28-3. They did things to this Cleveland Browns defense that no one in the league has done this season. I completely disagree with you, Zach. I'm sorry. I know Deshaun Watson had one of his better games of the season last week against the Cardinals. This Ravens team is different. The defense, first in yards per game allowed, third in points. The offense is clicking. Lamar looks like an MVP. I really, despite Myles Garrett saying he's just approaching the peak of his powers, which he actually might be right on, amazingly enough, I love Baltimore in this game, especially at home.
Well, you don't realize we're halfway through the season. This is when Baltimore...
Oh, this is when they...
God, can they just both lose? I mean,
they can tie.
Baltimore's the pick.
Baltimore's going to win this game at home. Cleveland, by most metrics, is the best defense in football all around. And I've said it time and time again, Baltimore kills you, specifically on the ground. So Cleveland, to me, matches up okay with them because they're very strong up front. But Baltimore, just on both sides of the ball, on offense, their defense is strong on both sides. I think they're going to force turnover. I don't think Watson plays great. I think Baltimore gets to him, plays with a short field. And when all is said and done, they're playing at home. They're rolling. They win by double digits in the end.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Browns have the best defense in the league, but it's not even close. But the Ravens are at number 2. Here's the thing, is I think people are overreacting to last week. We saw Deshaun Watson play an okay game against Clayton Tune and the Cincinnati Cardinals. Excuse me, the Arizona Cardinals at home. I was thinking back to that Browns-Bengals game where they absolutely obliterated Joe Burrow. My apologies. But look, beating Clayton Tune and the Cardinals is just not all that impressive. Throwing for 220 yards against one of the worst defenses in the NFL is not that impressive. I think that Deshaun Watson is going to get humbled. There's no Nick Chubb in the backfield to help him out. The Browns do not have an effective run game. And players like Roquan Smith, who are good in the run game, but even better in coverage, are the kinds of guys that can make you pay for that. Kyle Hamilton is the kind of guy who can make you pay for that. So I think we are going to see, just like the Seahawks went into Baltimore and ran into a buzzsaw, that exact same buzzsaw is going to tear the Browns in half.
It is an AFC North game, and these games are always close. It feels like they're always hard hitting. And we've seen the two defenses, leaders on the defense, saying how they know how good the other side is, and they want to prove who's the best defense in football. I said before the Ravens were first in yards per game and third in points. That was actually the Browns. It's the Ravens who lead the NFL in least points per game allowed. They also have the most sacks. So I actually don't think it's easily the Browns defense being the best in football, Ziggy. Baltimore is right there too. And did you guys see what Roquan Smith said about the Bears trade?
Yeah, he said,
how good was that?
Yes, that was the best thing I've ever seen.
Man, it makes me so happy just knowing my career is not going down the drain in the sense of playing somewhere where I'm not truly competing for a title.
That's amazing.
I mean, brutal for the Bears. But
this will be a game to me where it's close, it's sloppy, it's hard hitting for a while, and then in the second half, Baltimore wins 24-13.
Like a big turnover or something like that?
Yeah, they'll get to Watson, they'll strip sack him, they'll pick him off, something like that. But they end up winning by about 10 points.
Someone might die this game.
These AFC North games are actually, I've said before, they're kind of scary how hard-hitting they are, no matter who it is. It's a different brand of football.
The AFC North and the NFC East are really the only divisions where I feel like these kinds of rivals exist. Where like you have the teams are consistently pretty good and there's that kind of animosity, right? There's the same animosity in the NFC North, but like usually only one or two of the teams in the division's any good. You know, in a place like the NFC West, the teams are usually pretty good, but like no one really cares. It's nice to have a division where some of the people care about playing football.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think Cleveland struggles mightily on offense this game. Like Baltimore,
everyone's going to struggle on offense. The Ravens' offense is going to put forth one of their worst games of the season.
I think.
You think even though they went into Cleveland and pushed them around,
it's just they're not going to do it twice. That's all I'm going to say.
I think Baltimore hits their stride eventually. Cleveland will have a hard time doing that.
Last game we're going to talk about here. Of course, I have to go with my surging Minnesota Vikings hosting the New Orleans Saints. Let me just say, on behalf of all Vikings fans,
I have nothing to say on this game.
No, I hate the Saints. I can't stand the New Orleans Saints. They're probably my least favorite team in football. That's including the Green Bay Packers. That 2009 NFC Championship game, I will never get over it. I don't care if Saints fans say you're just a salty Vikings. You know what? I am. And I hope for eternal misery for Saints fans. And since that game, I feel like I've come pretty close to getting it with the Rams ending, the Minneapolis Miracle, Kyle Rudolph. The Saints have had it bad, and I hope it gets worse because I can't stand the New Orleans Saints. And this weekend, when they go into Minnesota, I know the Saints, 18 takeaways a game. The Vikings are second in the league with 17 turnovers. They fumble like it's nobody's business. But I'm expecting that Minneapolis crowd to be going crazy because, like me, every other fan of the Vikings despises New Orleans. And we know this is a rivalry. This is arguably our biggest rival outside of the Packers right now. and it means something to win this game, it's going to take a big effort from Josh Dobbs, believe it or not, again, because Justin Jefferson should be out. KJ Osborne might be out. I just like the way that the Vikings are playing football at the moment. They're very team-oriented. They're not relying too much on one guy like they have in the past. I think being at home will give them the edge. It should be a great game, though. And with respect to Saints fans, even after saying all of that, they're always great games, and I'm expecting nothing different here.
I'll say this much. The Saints do indeed have one of the better defenses in the NFL.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson has been activated, but I think it's unlikely he plays this game. But you sort of, at a certain point, you just have to look at the team vibes. I get that you can't quantify this. I get that it can sort of be hard to tell. But doesn't it just feel like things are the absolute opposite in Minnesota and New Orleans? In New Orleans, it seems like everyone's down. Carr's yelling at receivers on the sidelines when he's throwing uncatchable balls. It feels like the fact that they're not going to be competitive next year looms. Like, it just doesn't seem like they're having a good time. Meanwhile, you check in Minnesota, even though Kirk Cousins is out. After what Dobbs did last week, everyone's losing their minds in the locker room. People are dancing. It feels like things are a little bit different. And I think that energy is going to continue. Is Dobbs going to be the guy forever in Minnesota? No. Is he going to be able to even make it through the rest of the season looking this good? I don't think so. But give him a little bit more time to learn the offense, right? A lot of his mistakes last week came from the fact that he'd never practiced a cadence with his guys. He didn't know the names of most of the people. He had no idea what the playbook looked like.
Did you see, Ziggy? I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you see Kevin O'Connell was actually telling him what the routes were?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable
insane
that he could coordinate that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, people don't understand how impressive this is. When you know the system in and out, it is very difficult to visualize what's going on and communicate it. The fact that he didn't have any idea what was going on and was still able to get that done is miraculous. But look, I think that the Vikings are going to carry that momentum. I think the Saints team is not good despite having a decent defense. I think they're just miserable, like their fan base, like they should be. And we're going to go in and win.
This is revenge from the 2009 championship game.
Every time we play the Saints, it's revenge. Every single time it's revenge for that game. Sean Payton, Greg Williams, Jonathan, is Vilma at the time? Darren Sharper. I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, Josh Dobbs just won a game where he didn't know who he was playing with, which is pretty remarkable. I mean, and now he has another full week to learn the names.
Yeah, but could it be a letdown spot?
Look at the playbook again.
It could definitely be
the letdown. No, the letdown spot is in a couple weeks. They're still motivated. They're still going to play hard. Like, they're not going to overlook this game. Like, Paul, you know the Vikings as well. You know the Vikings better than me, right? The letdown game is heading to Denver the week after.
It's a road game.
The letdown game is not hosting the Saints.
Yeah, letdown game is a road game.
But a road game in prime time for the Vikings. That's the letdown.
Oh,
again,
yeah.
Sean Payton, that
coach of the year.
But
coach of the year.
Now, when you're in firm position of a potential playoff spot, which Minnesota is, I think they have every intention on going to the playoffs, and they should.
Oh yeah, brother.
These are the games against teams that you're probably better than at home, where you have to win.
Yeah.
So I would take Minnesota based purely off that feel that they have to win this game.
Okay,
just to put it out there, the Saints do lead the league in interceptions.
Yeah, but we fumble.
Yeah, but we don't throw interceptions.
we fumble, man. We don't have interceptions.
Okay, Dobbs ain't throwing no picks.
Although, Kirk was fantastic protecting the ball this year. Kevin O'Connell is going to be in the running for coach of the year.
No, he won't.
He will. He will. And the vibes, I agreed with Ziggy. The feeling you have on this Minnesota team over the past 2 years, it's a very, very tight-knit team.
Just to put it out
he's done a great job.
How do you become coach of the year if you're going to have a worse season than you did last year?
I told you.
Because Kirk Cousins got hurt and we didn't blink.
Yeah, if Josh Dobbs comes in and we go to the playoffs after starting 1-4 with Justin Jefferson missing half of our winning streak, he 100% should be in coach of the year conversation. And at the beginning of the season, I said the Vikings may win less games on the luck factor, but be a better team. And that's what you're seeing right now. It's exactly what you're seeing with Minnesota. Let's go to our game picks and updated records for us. I went through. We haven't given updated records.
I don't want to know.
In first place, yours truly, with an 88-48 record on the season. right behind me. Jack, 87 and 49. In third place, the leader through 4 weeks when we stopped keeping count was Robert Ziggy Ziegler, who now sits at 78 and 58, 10 back of first place, and bringing up the rear at 75 and 61, 14 games over 500. Executive producer, Zach Bloomquist.
Still a fine record, though. I mean, it's not a bad record.
It's because I'm not as square as you guys. I like
It's because Zach's taking the Cardinals to win games.
Yeah, I am
The
taking
formerly
Cardinals.
led by Josh Dobbs Cardinals.
Yeah.
Zach likes Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, I can't take the Cardinals no more. He's gone.
Yeah.
I have to take the Vikings now, which
You
is
do,
kind of sad.
you do. So we're going to get into our game picks. Before, let me just quickly tell you about our friends over at Sharps. We'd like to give them a quick shout out. Sharps securely links to your favorite sports books like BetMGM, Caesars, and FanDuel, so you can post your favorite verified bets and betting content. Sharps makes it easy to separate hot bettors like Jack Weinberger, 6 in a row, from the squares. See a bet you like, click it, and boom, it'll open in your corresponding sports book. Like we said, the cap of the week is coming up. College basketball starting soon. This is where we thrive. So you can tail all our bets on Sharps. Click in the link in the description and use our referral code PRFV414 to join the Sharps community today and link your sportsbook up. That's really important to do. Link the sportsbook up and use the referral code PRFV414. We can't wait for you to squad ride with us. With that said, let's get into our game pick. Zach, you know what to do. Throw on that music.
Let me hear that
Thursday
music.
Night Football,
Hey.
an absolute barn burner in Chicago as the Bears are 3-point favorites over the Carolina Panthers. Jack, who you got?
Bryce Young ain't winning more than one game this year. Give me those Chicago Bears at home.
This Bears team stinks. This Panthers team stinks. I think I'm going to go with the Panthers, though. I had a gut feeling a couple weeks ago. I got the same feeling now.
I'm a big Bayesian fan. Give me some Bayesian.
It's better than Bryce Young. It's better than Bryce Young.
Man, these teams both stink. In Chicago, Bajan's been playing well. I'm going to go with the Panthers, however. I don't trust Tyson Bagent.
You trust Bryce Young.
I trust them a little bit more. I mean, maybe I'm relying on Alabama Bryce Young. The Colts at the Patriots, Indianapolis, a 1.5-point favorite. Oh, by the way, we've gotten almost every game wrong on both these teams. So something, as long as we don't all Wolfpack this, something has to give.
The first thing I was going to say is I think I'm the worst Patriots picker in the world. Like, I have no clue. I'm going to
We've been horrible.
I'm going to take the Colts because I think the Pats are just flat out horrendous. And the Colts are a little bit better. And they'll win like 20-17. So I'm going to take the Colts.
You know what makes this even harder is they're going to Germany. So, if it wasn't hard enough to predict.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot that too.
Yeah,
okay, Colts.
It's a neutral field, but boy, I don't trust this Colts team traveling. I think I've been riding with the Patriots all year. It's gotten me in a lot of trouble. I'll take a little more. Give me the Patriots.
Ziggy wants that trouble.
I like the Colts this week.
I'm going to go with the Colts too. I've gotten almost every single Colts game wrong. Ziggy lone wolfing this one. The 49ers and Jaguars in Jacksonville. San Francisco, a 3-point road favorite against a red-hot Jacksonville team.
I want to take the Jags so bad. I normally would in this spot. Nice home dog.
Oh, come on.
But I think the Niners are going to win this game. So I'm going to go San Francisco.
You know, Jack, you just said it. Red hot home dog with a star quarterback. I'm taking the Jaguars.
Deebo Samuels is on my fantasy team, so I will be taking the 49ers all day.
Oh, man. I really want to take Jacksonville, too. It's in Jacksonville. Their fans are starving. It's going to be more red. There's going to be a ton of red there at that game. Oh, I'm rooting for the Jaguars, but I'm going to take the 49ers as well. Another lone wolf for Robert Ziggy.
I'm trying to close the gap. It's
closing
either
it.
going to get bigger or it is going to shrink.
The Saints, oh my God, it's the first time I'm seeing this. The Saints are 2.5-point favorites at the Vikings this weekend.
Wow.
This is an easy smash.
That's the play of the year, Minnesota.
Yeah, play of the year.
Red hot team with a star quarterback. Home dogs.
Home dog.
Goal.
Josh Dobbs has made his way over to Minnesota, so that's where I got to
Boys,
be.
can we do it, please?
Zach's
Can we
made his
do
way
a
up north.
little Wolfpack skull? Skull!
Playoffs. Talking about playoffs?
We are talking playoffs in Minnesota. The Titans at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Will Levis leading. And I should say this. Starting quarterback, Will Levis against the Buccaneers. Tampa, a 1.5-point favorite.
Thank God the Steelers beat Levis, or I'd be sitting here chugging just mayo,
A lot of mayo.
straight out of a jar, and it was close. But I will take my NFC South champs, Baker Mayfield, and those Bucks at home this weekend. Levis loses 2 in a row. Tampa Bay.
Both these teams are playing for a lot. They're both sort of fringy, and this game will sort of decide how the rest of their season plays out. The Bucks have the better uniforms. They've got the more experienced quarterback. They're at home. I think I'm going to go with the Bucks, even though I feel like I'll regret this.
Are they in the creamsicle uniforms this weekend?
I don't know. The Titans are just in that horrible... Yeah.
I'll be taking Will Levis. I like what I've been seeing.
He's been good.
Will Levis has looked good. In Tampa Bay, though, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. I think
Oh, the Wolf.
Titans they are my AFC South champions. So it would be good if they won this one. The Browns at the Ravens. Baltimore, a 6-point favorite in the AFC North showdown.
I'm hoping they both lose, or something fluky
tie?
happens and they tie. Actually, I don't know if a tie would be good for us. Baltimore at home will win this game. They're an absolute wagon right now.
Do they cover?
Yeah, they cover the 6.
I actually would take the Browns with the points, but the Ravens are going to win the game. The only reason is these AFC North battles are always close, but the Ravens are going to clutch it out. Probably on a long Justin Tucker field goal.
Like 64 yards in the end.
Something like that, yeah.
The wind at his back.
Give the fans a show. No, the wind in his face. Give him
Actually,
a
probably
show.
in his face, right?
Right in
Yeah.
his face. It was like 70.
Tucker hits it off all 3 bars.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I have Deshaun Watson starting on my fantasy team. Give me Deshaun Watson
And Zach
and those Browns.
Is wearing the orange and black. So
Yeah. That's an absurd
Don't make
pick.
fun of this team. This is the greatest team we've ever.
Oh, I
made.
played on that team. I know.
This is-
I know.
Nevada State Penitentiary. The Ravens win this game and they'll cover. Texans at the Bengals. The Bengals are 6.5-point
Ziggy
favorites.
just had the most confused face on why we had these jerseys.
It was our old basketball team that we used to play with. I don't know.
No, the confusion is why you thought you could name yourselves that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Some dude once asked us what that was, and one of our friends was like, "Yeah, we all did time there."
Who knows why? Yeah, Vegas, man.
Yeah,
Crazy things
Vegas
happen.
got to us.
We also had a dude that was reffing a girls' basketball game that said he just got out.
An inmate. The Texans at the Bengals. Cincinnati 6.5-point favorites.
I got the Bengals winning this relatively comfortably. I think it's an emotional game from Houston. Bengals are hot. You got the Bengals.
I tried to talk up the Texans based on the Bengals injury list. You know how many players were on the Texans injury list today?
No.
23. And most of them, 18 of them either were limited or didn't practice. So these aren't phantom injuries. As much as I want to take the Texans, I just can't justify it. I got to take the Bengals.
He's going back on his Texans
He's
triumph.
switching. Yeah.
He's going back on
Wait,
his Texans triumph.
Fairbairn is playing, right?
No, he's out.
Oh, he's out.
He's doubtful.
That's actually huge. He's Bengals.
Agumbawale. Can you imagine they trot out Agumbawale?
Yeah, see the brother of the...
He is. He's Enrique's brother.
Oh.
Yeah. Clutch.
I thought he runs in the family.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want the Bengals to win, they're going to win.
Yeah, Bengals will win, and they cover this time.
We're Wolf
as well.
Pack.
We're Wolf Pack. The Packers, here we go, baby. The Packers at the Steelers. Pittsburgh, a 3-point favorite against Jordan Love and the Cheeseheads.
This is the game you see us come out and play like beasts. We hang a 30 spot. Don't look back.
You never do that.
30-6. Couple pick sixes against that bum Love.
Ah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Three?
Yeah.
3 pick
But,
sixes and 3 field goals?
I'll say it on record, a blowout in the Steel City. Steelers big. Love does nothing.
When you've got bad defenses or bad offenses and good defenses, I'm taking the home team every time. There's just no way Jordan Love walks into Pittsburgh and leaves with a win. Give me the Steelers.
I'd be shocked.
I'd be shocked if the Packers scored 10 points.
Yo, me too.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh all day.
I mean, let's not sit here and act like the Steelers are some godsend
No,
team.
we're
Like,
a lot better than the Packers. We're playing them at home.
I think you're better than them too.
That
But
shouldn't even be
the
close.
Pittsburgh defense is not what it used to be, and the offense. I mean, they get outscored Haven't they been outscored on the year?
We haven't played the Packers yet.
Oh, no. You haven't played the Packers yet. Packers won't score in the first half. Steelers win this game. Falcons, a 1.5-point favorite at the Cardinals. Oh, Kyler's playing. Okay.
Yeah, this is
I was like, wait a second. Kyler's playing.
This is Kyler's season debut. I'm not a huge fan of him in general, but I think he plays well. Little home dog. I'll take the Cardinals.
You know who's also coming back that no one's really talking about? James Conner is expected to be back and play this game. I think that's a bigger deal than folks think.
For Zach's fantasy team, it is.
My fantasy team's getting healthy.
Arthur Smith doesn't know how to coordinate an offense, and he's not going to figure it out anytime soon. As long as they refuse to give their balls to the best players, they're never going to score. So give me the Cardinals.
I mean, just like Ziggy said, you got Kyler back, even though MW3's coming out. Kyler, James Conner, Cardinals?
MW3.
I think so.
We're going to let Paul lone wolf us against the Cardinals and get a free dub.
Yeah, MW3 is coming out. We know that means you pick against the Cardinals. I got the Falcons in this one, even though I'm not a big fan of them. Too much time on the Xbox.
This is the Bird Bowl. It's the dirty red birds or dirty red birds.
It is. The Lions. See how I just kind of like, yeah, it is. The Lions are 3-point favorites at the Chargers.
Brush it off. This will be all Lions fans, by the way, at this game. They'll travel. They'll make the trip. This is a big game. I got the Lions on the road.
I frankly don't think this Chargers team is very good. I've been alarmed from what I've seen from the offense. They haven't gotten a lick better. Meanwhile, the Lions, we know, actually have a very good offense. The Lions are 15-3 against the spread in their last 18 games. Make that 16-3. They're going to win this handily.
The Lions, because Justin Herbert sucks.
I think Brandon Staley walks out onto that field and looks at the crowd, all the Lions blue, and they win that game, and he cries in the press conference. He pulls a Dan Campbell, and he says, "This is my stadium. This is my city, and we're not going to let Detroit. We weren't going to let Detroit come in here." The Chargers win after walloping the Jets.
Did you read that on Wattpad, Paul?
I don't even know what Wattpad is.
It's a place where people upload their fan fiction.
No.
Like they're in Harry Potter, married to me, and we lived happily ever after.
This is Brandon Staley's city, and he's taking it back this weekend. The Lions don't push them around.
They don't even play in L.A. They play in like Inglewood.
I have no idea.
No, Inglewood's LA. That absolutely counts.
Oh, is it L.A.? Okay.
All right,
That
pretty
absolutely
big spread here. This is Zach
You're the
special.
California guy. You're the California guy.
He is. He's a California boy. The Zach special potentially here. The Cowboys 16.5-point favorites hosting the Giants. I'll get myself out of the way. Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys. I don't know if... that's a big spread, but they're my survivor pick. They're not going to lose at the Cowboys.
The Cowboys are starting Danny DeVito because they're ready to move on from Daniel Jones. Don't expect them to keep this close. Cowboys against the spread.
I mean, I can't believe you guys are from around here and aren't taking the Bosco native Danny DeVito.
He had a catch
But
with my
neither am
brother.
I. No, give me the Cowboys.
He had a catch with my brother.
The Commanders at the Seahawks. Seattle is 6-point favorite. Commanders another weird team.
I got Seattle winning at home off a beating. They return home. They play better. I got Seattle.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. This Seahawks team, Seahawks at home are a completely different team. They're good against NFC teams. They're good at home. I think they're going to be just fine this game. Give me the Seahawks.
Do you know, Ziggy, do you know who is the second leading passer in the league right now?
Yeah, Sam Howell, because
You're
it's
right.
an unlimited volume because
Sam
they're always
Howell and
behind him.
those
He takes a million
Commanders
sacks.
all day.
I don't think Seattle is as good as their record, but they're better than the Commanders are, especially at home, the 12th man. Give me the Seahawks. That's
Free win.
that's a lone wolf.
I got a trivia question for you guys on this game really quickly. Do you know where Sam Howell said the loudest place he's ever played is?
The loudest place Sam
College
Howell
or
ever
NFL,
played.
the loudest place he's ever played. Said it was deafening.
Vatek.
Yes. Carry on.
Okay.
My boys! Can you play under Sam, man? Can you?
Yeah. Actually, you probably can. The Jets are 1-point favorites at the free Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, this is... I don't guarantee locks of a lifetime. But this is a lock of a lifetime. The Raiders will pound the Jets. This is a new look Raiders team. They want to play. They're excited to play. These Jets are horrible. I backed them against the Chargers. This team stinks. Give me Antonio Pierce. Give me those Las Vegas Raiders. 35-3 over those bums from North Jersey.
I think this is exactly the opposite. I think this is the lock of a lifetime letdown from the Raiders.
We'll see.
Here are the facts. They were playing with so much energy last week, and they spent every bit of it.
Continues.
They were smoking their cigars in the clubhouse after beating Danny DeVito,
They'll get more of them.
whatever the hell
Sweet.
his name is. Look, the Jets have a great defense. Antonio Pierce is not going to have a game plan to overcome that. Zach Wilson has slowly but surely marginally improved. The Jets are coming off a terrible loss. They're going to win this just fine.
Ziggy.
Fool.
Fool. Ziggy's fool's gold right now. That's what he is, because it's going to be Raiders Central all day.
And a blowout.
Zach.
Get this
Zach. You fool. Ziggy's exactly right. Aiden O'Connell got blown out by Tyson Bagent.
Get those victory cigars out.
The Jets defense against the guys, come on. The Raiders are not that good. The Giants just suck.
I'm done picking
Danny
the Jets.
DeVito can't throw a football.
Yeah,
No offense,
he had the Jets beat. The Jets are horrendous.
The Jets are bad.
That's the worst team I've ever
The
seen.
Jets are bad, but the punt return, the fumbles, it all fell apart too quick against the Chargers.
DeVito negative 10 pass yards almost beat
Man,
the Jets.
the Raiders are happy too. I'm going with the Jets. It's never fun to pick the Jets, but
They're the worst team
I'm
I've
going
ever
with them. The Broncos,
It's foolish.
7.5 point underdogs in Buffalo against Josh Allen and the Bills.
This is a huge Buffalo win. They're so due to just pound a team.
And the
this
Broncos are the perfect team to do that.
This is going to be the week. The line is too low because the Bills are slacking. They're going to murder this team. They'll win and they cover.
I want to say I feel a little bit of an upset brewing because there is some stormy weather in Buffalo. But it's not coming from this Broncos team. The Bills are going to handle them just fine.
The Broncos are riding the high of a lifetime, beating the Chiefs. And that high is going to keep going when they beat the Buffalo Bills.
I think Zach's eyes.
This is how you get in last place.
Yeah, this is how you're 75.
I want to hear it.
This is how you're,
He's taking a shot, so you got to respect
this is how
that.
you're almost 500 on straight up game picks. I have the Bills in this one as well. And that makes Zach a lone wolf for our last game.
That's the Monday night game.
That is the Monday night game.
Oh, wait, can I change my answer?
You can change it. You want to come over? You want to come
It's
over?
a Monday night game. Never mind.
All right, he's with us. Did you guys see, before we get to the cap of the week, did you guys see the airing of the grievances that the Raiders had with Josh McDaniels?
But didn't they make him cry, basically?
It sounds brutal.
No, this is a revamped squad.
I know we're late to the game on this, but yeah, apparently like it was just a brutal lashing out of
They
everything.
all came out and let everything out, right?
I can't imagine what was being said in that meeting. But yeah, they said McDaniels was a shell of himself at practice the next day.
I mean, Renfro's out here saying we can stop walking on eggshells now with him gone.
Oh, have you ever seen? This is bad scene in Vegas.
Urban Meyer is like the only other case I can think of where players just openly celebrated their guy being gone.
You have one of the best receivers in the league, Devontae Adams, saying, "I'm ready to run through a wall for this man." Then they beat a team by 30. And you're out here picking the Jets against them. That's the most foolish thing I've ever heard in my life. The Raiders
We'll see when the game's
Jets.
played.
Yeah,
we'll see when the game's played.
We will. We will. I'll come back here and be like, you guys were foolish for that. But all right.
I'm not taking Aiden O'Connell. I'm
Good,
not.
please
Not
don't.
yet.
That gives me a
Not
free win
yet.
against you. I'm a game behind you.
Not
There you
yet.
go. You just gave me the game.
Speaking of free wins, the Jack Cap of the Week has won 6 in a row. Basically, any amount of money you put on, you're guaranteed to win it back plus some. If you follow Jack right now, I believe Merle, one of our favorite listeners.
Merle's my guy.
Merle is tailing.
I want to meet Merle.
Merle is tailing.
Merle's my favorite.
Yeah, Merle, let us know when you're in Northeast Jersey, and we'll go get a beer or
Yeah,
something.
we'll grab a beer.
But
We'll see you on that yacht, Merle. Or I think it's Merle.
I think it's Merle.
Merle. Well, let
Well,
us
he can
know.
tell us.
Yeah,
He
pronounce
can tell
it.
us. But Merle's been tailing, and Merle's been making money. So how do we get Merle and everyone else another lock this week? Where we go?
Well, Merle and all the other fans, I hope you like Coca-Cola. because I just downed this Coca-Cola on this show. The best drink in the world. You know, you have your waters, your coffees, but there's truly nothing better than Coke. And I just finished this in freaking minutes.
Phenomenal.
We wouldn't have Coke if it was never founded. And it was founded in the phenomenal state of Georgia. Georgia. We love Georgia. And we hate Ole Miss. Those Georgia Bulldogs, minus 10.5 at home, in prime time, in their final home game of the year, will pound Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. Give me those dogs, not the road dogs, those home dogs in Sanford Stadium. Georgia, minus 10.5. Lane train crashing this week, baby. Georgia. I love Coke, and I love those dogs.
All right. That's 7 in a row right there. I mean, does it get easier than that?
What does Ziggy have to say?
I was going to say, you also wouldn't have Coca-Cola if it weren't for the Colombian paramilitary death squads they hired to kill union leaders in a bottling or a farming facility in Colombia.
Hell yeah. Cheers and go dogs.
Oh my God. Yeah, that would be a weird way to get this show canceled, but maybe. I mean, I've seen weirder things before. So there you have it. The Jack Cap of the week.
You know what I call Ole Miss? Ole Piss.
Ole Piss.
Ole Piss.
I've always found myself to be an Ole Miss ally, but
At
not
home.
this week.
At home.
At home. This week that will be on Sharps, so you can see our bets for college football. The college basketball though is really where you want to start following, because that's where, as long as I'm not betting the game, that's where these guys make them.
Yeah, I'm 3-1, and the lone loss is the pick they were on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, naturally. and of course, the other part of that parlay. No parlays, guys. For anyone who's listening who's new to betting, no parlays. Now, listen, if we ever get picked up by a sports book, all you're going to see from us are parlays.
4-leggers, 5-leggers.
5-leggers.
But there's a reason for that.
And listen, they're not going to go back and listen to this episode. Don't follow the parlays. Individual bets. Individual bets. But yes, soon you will see parlays, hopefully, with us in a sports book one day. If you know anyone who runs a sports book, we'd love to be sponsored. Thanks again for listening. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend. That's a great thing you can do to help us out. We're going to try and give you more content as we continue through this NFL season. For Paul, Jack, Ziggy, and Zach, we will see you with the Week 10 reaction show. Thanks again for listening, and have a great weekend.